Hello, this is Irene. You are watching Single Christian Girl right here on YouTube. Thank you again for joining us. And we're going to have a candid conversation entitled, It's Not Her Fault. Maybe that's a generalization. There are times when it is her fault, so I'm not going to say all the ladies are innocent in all scenarios. I'm going to bring up some scenarios where you guys will get my drift as I continue. Now we're going to talk about some more recent things and some things that's happened a little while back, but all kind of connected to the same vein. Shout out to Erica Campbell, her new movie on Lifetime, along with Trey Byers. He's from Empire, and it's Thou Shalt Not Commit Adultery. And I just want to do a quick review on it without doing too much spoilers, but it all ties into our theme. It's not her fault. So in the film, Erica's character had an issue with adultery. And I don't want to spoil it, but it might be some light things here and there, some extra things. So if you want to watch it first, that's cool. But she had an issue with adultery. And a lot of times when women have that issue, I think people come down harder on women, while I feel like a man can get a free pass. And if he apologizes and tries to say he's gonna do right and all that I won't say they get a free pass, but they're just not as hard on the guys if they do something outside the marriage, try to come back, versus the woman. So that's kind of what happens in the Lifetime movie. But I want to give them a shout out. A lot of scriptures were given. It was kind of a messed up scenario, and it's definitely typical Lifetime. So if you're a Lifetime fan, you'll like it. But it does have that gospel, spiritual, church, Christian side to it as well. It has those elements to it. And I think the chemistry between Erica and her adulterous partner, Trey Byers, was really great. And a lot of these films in Lifetime is pretty decent. I mean, they don't show a lot of unnecessary things that you don't need to see physically. But this was, I think, even a little bit tighter than that. And we didn't see too much, but we got the point. We got the chemistry. We felt the vibe. And it felt like she was sneaking around doing stuff she wasn't supposed to do. It felt naughty. It felt risky. But at the end, she paid a price. And I believe she saw the error of her ways. But that doesn't always mean that you're going to end up, in the best place. And when you make mistakes in life, and you can't do a reset button on certain things, and I definitely think that issue, you can't just reset and go back to the way things were. It took some work, and at the end, let's say the work was still in progress. I'll say that for those that are interested in watching the movie. But in the vein, it's not her fault. I'd also want to add that her husband was an adulteress, but he had his issues. He was not present in the marriage. So he played a part that definitely does not give her rights to do what she did. But again, like I said, if a woman steps out, a lot of times it's taken down harder on us. Now let's go to our next section of this topic. And because we're going to talk about Erica and her sister Tina, and I did a short little while back about their situation. But before we go there, I also did a short that included Megan, the Stallion, and Tina Campbell. Now, Megan, we know she's not a Christian. We know her lifestyle from what we can visually see publicly, right? And I forget the name of the guy she was with, but he was a athlete, a pro athlete. He seemed to be a good guy, And it looked like she found her good one. If anyone knows Megan's history, she was shot in the foot, I believe, by her ex, and I think he was a rapper in the same industry with her. But yeah, so she had some bad times in relationships, and I think she probably was looking to be wifey. She was giving her ex, the good guy ex, all of the wifey amenities and all of the perks that a married man would get. She cooked. Everything was on socials. They were hanging out. They looked cute together. She made sure she was always cute. She has to do that anyway as in the public eye. But, she did a lot for this guy just for him to turn out to be another guy that cheats on her. And I was watching another YouTuber influencer. He's also I think he was a music journalist in the past, and he was talking about similar, it's not her fault, saying, a woman can so-called do everything right. She can look the best as possible, be one of the most attractive and desirable women, yet and still her spouse can go out on her. For back in the day, for those who know, Halle Berry's had that issue. There's been other major women that are considered bombshells that their husbands kind of played them, and it goes to show you, definitely looks are not everything, but it appeared that Megan was a full package. She was bringing the meals as well. She was bringing the cuteness. She has her own money, so I'm sure she wasn't asking him for much of that. So this guy had it made and still had the nerve to go out and mess with other women. But the guy in the influencer that talked about this is basically saying it's not her fault. He said, one of the main things that he sees that men that have a close connection to another man, like their father or someone they look up to, and they see that person has cheated, he said that they more likely will cheat no matter the circumstances, no matter how good the woman is, no matter how good they have it, that's possibly what will happen. And it's a story we see all the time, that men oftentimes are the one that go out on their relationships. So I'll say, because I'm coming from a Christian standpoint, I would say Megan kind of missed the mark by giving this guy all the amenities before marriage. Now, you want to give them a taste. You want to, and she probably gave him the bedroom experience as well. You want to kind of tease your potential spouse to be. You don't want to give them everything up front. Now, he still could have cheated, but at least she wouldn't have given all of her wifey benefits to someone that really didn't deserve it. So now he's got all the benefits. He got to see what he was going to have before marriage, and he still he kind of stepped on that. So that kind of hurts a little bit more. But I feel it also shows us ladies that definitely it's about the chase, and tease them a little bit. Don't give them all the things, because I feel that they will get a little bit too comfortable in that. They'll be able to, and then maybe they'll get a little bored too, because they don't have to do anything. They don't have to chase anymore. There's multiple reasons, and just to keep your own sanity, and just to keep your own emotional, physical safety. Just a little bit of a tease, a respectful tease, not too much. And, don't give them the whole enchilada of what they're going to supposedly get at the honeymoon and after the marriage. Even in her instance, I'll say it's not her fault, but she could have taken some different steps just for her own, again, her own personal security, and just to protect her own, you guys know where I'm going with that. Okay, so lastly, I want to talk about Erica and Tina Campbell, Mary, the gospel artist sisters that made many great hits and now they're kind of legendary at this point. Erica has been doing more music solo, and I think that she's more known kind of on her own versus her sister, but we know both of them, right? So the first story I saw was Tina Campbell. Her husband's divorcing her, filing for divorce after 20-something years of marriage. They did let us know that they were separated in the past, and maybe they were recently separated as well, but they tried to stick it out. He also had infidelity in the past of their marriage on his part. And so I'm like, wow, I felt bad for her at the moment. And then the next moment I see Erica, her sister, is having a vow renewal. And I was like, is this really called for, in my opinion? Because I was like, okay, we just heard your sister's going through divorce. Why would you jump out with the next story? Give it a little time. Give it time to breathe. Give her a little air. Give it about a month or so. I'm like, it feels like it was days apart, if even that I saw this story. Now, maybe my timeline is off on how I saw things or whatnot, but I still felt it was a little bit too soon. And I felt like it was almost like a rub in the face of her sister. Now, this may be, a media scheme where the media set this up. This might not be something that she chose to do in this time frame. And I still don't have all the details. But when I go back and look, I see that, okay, Erica, she probably had been planning this for some time. It's her 25-year anniversary, so that is a landmark number. Doesn't seem like something out of nowhere. If you saw pictures, you saw Tina was there as well, celebrating with her sister. Again, I feel like she probably felt a burn, but it was just because of the circumstance and not because of her sister directly. That's what I think. But, there's always sibling rivalry situations that I don't know if the two of them have. I heard they had a reality show, but I really didn't keep up and watch with that. So I really was wondering if Erica was kind of throwing this in her sister's face. But again, upon further reflection, I was like, oh, well, this is a milestone, 25 years. They probably got married around this same time. Because why would you have a renewal for your 25th anniversary and it's not your actual anniversary? You did it at another date. That will be weird. So it had to be landing around that date. It just happened that circumstances lined up where everything was happening at once. And that's my final thought on that scenario. But if you guys know anything else, you can let me know if I'm wrong. But, so I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about the sisterly bond, the sibling rivalry, and I was even thinking about Erica's marriage because I was seeing reports recently that even though I'm sure it happened years ago, and I think she mentioned it, that her husband also went out on her, and they were able to keep their marriage together. It turns out her husband was also helpful in creating the film for Lifetime, Thou Shalt Not Commit Adultery. They worked on the music together. If you heard the music, she's singing some of the songs on that soundtrack. So these guys are making money. They're still working together. Her husband is very strong in the music industry. So, he played a part in the film and that creative side. And I also wonder how he felt about his wife committing adultery on camera. But, they were still making that money to do this movie, and that was the important part. And I also thought about some of the elements that Erica was called out for in the movie, like the kind of risky, tight clothes she was wearing that didn't seem to be very church lady-like. And in her position, she's supposed to be a woman of God, and this is like a big part of her brand. So them pulling that out made me think of some real life scenarios, and I think they kind of did that on purpose. She kind of made some nonchalant flip choices in her actions in the film. And though she had some strong chemistry and some moments with Trey Byers, the other actor that played her adulterous partner, again, I still feel like I've seen much worse, even on Tubi at this point. I definitely feel a Tubi connection with this, but definitely the quality is better. The quality is lifetime quality of the film. But in the future, I'm going to definitely talk about some Tubi movies that are Christian as well. If you're up for that, let me know. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to share, because I did want to make that connection with Tina and her sister. And I did see some YouTubers talking about Tina and how they were kind of blaming Tina for trying to stay in this relationship with her husband and trying to make it work for so many years. And she should have let him go the first time he cheated, and why she tried to hold on to this man and he wasn't feeling it. He didn't want to be there. Then some people were saying she could have stepped up her, they would show pictures of her where she's not looking very well dressed and she's kind of looking kind of basic. And, you know, I feel like people were trying to pull out, well, she should have did herself up better. There's other things she could have possibly did to keep this man. And again, like I said, it's not her fault. We always try to point at the woman like it's her fault. If the man wants to go, he wants to go. I can't say anything about the fact of her trying to save her marriage. I think that's a noble thing to do. And, I mean, if she tried to fight for it and he stayed, I mean, it was his choice. If he didn't want to stay, he could have left. That's on him. He didn't have to stay in a marriage if he didn't want to stay in. So, again, I feel like in that area, it's not her fault. Maybe there's some things she could have improved in her marriage lifestyle, sure, but that's something that he should have addressed with her. And they could have worked out. Who knows if he addressed it? Who knows if he pointed anything out? Who knows what other issues may be going on? But I wish her the best. It's time for her to heal, recover, restore, refresh, renew, and see what will happen next in her future. So I wish her all the best, as well as her sister Erica. And just in there, even though they have separate and different scenarios of their love lives and marriages, I wish them the best in the track and the purpose and the space God has them moving forward in. Finally, just for fun, I want to propose an alternate ending to Thou Shalt Not Commit Adultery, in which she has such good vibes with the guy she committed adultery with that she ends up divorcing her husband and marrying this new guy, and they have a beautiful life together. Is that okay, especially for people in the church world? Could that be a possibility? Just a question thrown out there, because they did have good vibes and good chemistry in the film. In the real world and in the church world, would that be okay? Hey, you committed adultery, now you move on with that person that you committed adultery with. What does that say? Because many people say when you do that, that's a part of your behavior, and if you do it once, you're going to do it again, and you may possibly commit adultery and then move on to another person, and keep remarrying. So that could be a problem. Is it okay if it happens once and then you stay with that person for the rest of your lives? Could that be a thing, or is that just taboo for the church world? When I look back at the film, I'll say that the guy, he played her bodyguard, and he was the guy she ended up getting with mistakenly. He did have some traits that were definitely not godlike, and he also had a little bit of a stalker vibe. He also was dishonest, so he had some issues too. So I wouldn't recommend leaving my husband for that guy, because, you know, he had some issues of his own. Alright guys, so I hope I haven't shared too much about the film. I hope you guys got the point of what I was saying. I was going back and forth here and there. Hope you were entertained. If you have any thoughts, let me know. If you can relate, connect with me, and drop your thoughts in the comments at any time. You can email me as well at cbizmedia1@gmail.com. And we will talk here again. Check out Prayers Up Club on iHeart.com. You can support us there. A listen means a lot, and that's all we need is a listen. So check out Prayers Up Club. The link is in the description, and I will be talking to you guys again. This is Irene, single Christian girl. Have a blessed one.